Friends, I just lost my job. Hello, friends, and welcome to Balik Bayaning Tatay. So, yes, around 3 weeks ago, my managers had to be the bearer of bad news. The company that I have worked for more than 7 years had to let me go because of, changes in the business requirements. Uh, so, what did I feel? Well, at first, it was awkward. As in, I could really see how difficult it was for my managers to be in that situation. um Imagine serving a termination notice to your colleague, that you had worked for many years. you know I've been in HR for almost my entire career. I mean, not almost, my entire career has been in HR, and it never gets easy. It never gets easy when it comes to serving termination notices. Then I also felt worried, because my wife and I, we have plans. Actually, I was planning to permanently pack my bags and go back to the Philippines in 2 years' time. Um, the reason, because I mean, we still have debts to pay. And we're still building the kids' college funds. And then after that, I also felt disappointed because I felt that I failed my family, and also I felt I failed my colleagues. Because to be honest, they are amazing people. They are awesome people. Um, because somehow I feel like I did. I felt like I did not do my best. Yung parang ganon. That I did not meet their expectations. So now they have to let me go. So I had those. I felt those many emotions. No, I had so many emotions at that time. And honestly, while it was being read to me, while it was being discussed, I was teary eyed. Uh, but amidst all of those emotions that I felt, I still felt peace, and I was still. Promise. I kid you not. As I received my termination letter, um, I knew the Spirit of the Lord took control of took control of my thoughts, took control of my emotions. Because honestly, it's impossible to master such peace and stillness in 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 such a dire situation. And so instead of seeing the worries and fears, I can sense the Holy Spirit focusing my thoughts to new opportunities, to a new chapter in my life. I felt like all the preparations that we've been doing for the past years led to that moment wherein if a storm such as that, like that, would come, we can still feel the peace. We can still be still and know and trust that God is in control. So after I left the office, I called my wife. She thought I was joking. I told her no. Uh, she was rattled and worried like me. But I think more worried than me. Because my wife is a practical person. Well, I think mothers are like that. No, they're very practical. I know she was not worried for the two of us. No, I think she's more worried for the kids. And the worries are still there, the anxiety, yes. But thank God, He gave us a wonderful gift that day. It was the gift of hope. Emotions are part of our humanity. It and just like many aspects of our humanity, if we didn't take control of it, it can really mess us up. Diba? If I have not controlled my raw emotions during that moment when my termination was being served, um, I think my colleagues would remember me as how rude I was and that during that moment instead of the relationship that we had built over the years. No, I might not even get the wonderful send off that they did for me. Uh, and so today I would like to share with you, as how I, as an OFW dad, try to manage and safeguard my emotions. So ilang months na ba since nagsimula ang COVID-19? It's more than 6 months now, right? And honestly, this pandemic really affected many lives, di ba? I mean, speaking for myself, last May I was supposed to come home, 'di ba? I was supposed to come home for my 40th birthday and para mabinyagan din yung anak namin. But dahil sa lockdown, dahil sa pandemic, hindi ko nagawa, you know? And my son was born last January. And ano tayo ngayon, July. It's been 6 months since the last time I held him. And I really miss them so much, my family. And And honestly, my emotions at times, especially nung panahon na nag-lockdown, nung at the peak yung fear, yung takot about COVID-19, it really makes me think na maybe I should call it quits and go home. No, uwi na ako. Kaliwali, bahala na si Batman kung ano mangyayari sa amin. Maybe love will keep us alive. Kasi nga, I miss them so much, and with all the fears, with all the commotions caused by COVID-19, you just want to be with your family. You just want to be with your loved ones. Then my daughter kept asking me, when will I come home? Kailan ba ako uwi? And it really adds up to that emotions that was building inside me. If you look at it, it's so easy to decide na, uwi na ako. However, here's what I realized and learned in my 16 years of OFW life. Na bilang ama, as fathers, we need to safeguard our hearts. We need to safeguard our emotions. We need to guard our passions. So what do I mean? What do I mean by that? We need to be prudent and perceptive when it comes to our emotional responses and passions. Kailangan natin maging maingat at kung kailangan natin bantayan mabuti kung ano yung mga nararamdaman natin, kung ano yung nasa damdamin natin. Why? Because even though we are the only creation that was given free will and intelligence, we are very vulnerable and prone to the influences of our emotions. Am I right? Our feelings have the power to unseat our reasoning. Di ba? Ito na lang, yung tipong alam mo na bata lang yung anak mo, pero napipikon ka pag non-stop ang tantrums niya. Di ba? Or alam mo na masasaktan ng misis mo pag sinagot mo siya dun sa text na sinulat mo or dun sa message na ginawa mo. Pero sinend mo pa rin. Yeah? Or let's say nag-sale yung gusto mong cellphone, 40% off, pero wala kang pera. Wala ka namang pera. So sabi mo, "Uy, may credit card naman ako. Swipe ko na lang, bahala na." Di ba? But it's not always about negative emotions. It's not, honestly, di ba? I mean, there are positive emotions, and positive emotions can also drive us to act, di ba? To act with fervor and do noble gestures. Ito na lang pandemic, I saw many people, a lot of people stepping up, to help others. Meron akong kasama sa community, nag-distribute siya ng pack foods para dun sa mga tao. Doon sa labas, nagbibigay siya ng pagkain. And there's also one lady here in Dubai na medyo nag-trending din na the same thing. She lost her job, and yet that did not stop her in helping other people. It's the same thing. She distributed pack foods, giving it to people na dyan lang, dumadaan, or Yun pupunta dahil nga nawalan ng trabaho or may pay cuts because of the pandemic. So I think it's very important for us fathers to understand these aspects of emotions. Kung ano talaga yung mga emotions. Because if we do, then it will help us to manage our own emotions. For this topic, let us focus on two themes. No, I want us to focus on two themes. One is in making major decisions that affects your family. That is guarding your emotional response. Okay? And then the second one is emotions when building or and managing relationships, and that is guarding your passions. No, so what is the difference between the two? Well, let's discuss them one by one. Emotions and passions are should not be seen as the weak side of humanity. No, it is actually part of us being man. No, God designed us to feel love, happiness, anger, fear, and other emotions to help us cope in in this earthly pilgrimage to our Father's home. Our life in here on earth is temporarily, di ba? Um, our ultimate destination is to reach our Father's home. That is to be with our Creator, di ba? And it is my personal belief that our emotions and passions are not meant to be overcome, but rather they are to be perfected. Perfected in a way na hindi flawless. Hindi ibig sabihin yung flawless talaga, yung as in solid na perfection. No. It is more finding that balance. Balance them all together. Balance them with our reasoning so that it will enable us to perform our divine purpose as a man, as a husband, as a father. So the first one that I mentioned earlier, the first theme is guarding our emotional response. So one, we need to be mindful of our emotional responses. Kung paano tayo mag-react sa mga nararamdaman natin. We are emotional creatures anyway, di ba? So it's just that finding on how we should react whenever nakakaramdam tayo ng galit, ng takot, ng desire, we should learn how to uh, respond to it properly and I would say in a productive way, something that is in line with goodness. There was a research conducted in Netherlands in 2015. No, it showed participants that reported that they're experiencing one or several emotions 90%, 90% of the time. Furthermore, the results showed that 41% of the time participants experience one or more positive emotions. The top ones are joy, love, and satisfaction. And then 16% of the time, participants experience one or more negative emotions. The main ones are anxiety, sadness, and disgust. So you see, we are really emotional beings, di ba? And we have to remember that our emotions can literally unseat our reasoning. In my own experience, my emotion becomes my reasoning. Ang emotion ko ang nagdidikta sa akin kung anong sasabihin ko, kung anong gagawin ko. Many times nakagawa ako ng mga bagay na talagang pinagsisisihan ko dahil nagawa ko when I'm emotional. Ask my wife. She can give you a lot of examples. So here are my 3 personal realizations about emotions, that I would like to share with you. So the first one is do not make a decision or commit to action when you are hyped by emotion. Okay? Again, do not make a decision or commit to an action when you are hyped by emotion. Yeah? Sabi nga, do not make a promise when you are very happy and do not make a decision when you are angry. Mas maganda kung ipagpapabukas mo na ang decision mo kung masyado kang emotional at the moment. Either it's a positive emotion or a negative one. Diba? When you make a decision, make sure that you are sober. Kumbaga nga, balance ka nga. Okay? And then the second one, questionable decisions are followed by repeated justifications. Again, questionable decisions are followed by repeated justifications. This is so related. This is related to sinning, di ba? Pag nakagawa tayo ng kasalanan, alam mo yung kahit na mali, you still do it. You know it's wrong, but you do it. You still do it, and you justify, right? The same is true with questionable decisions based on emotions. For example, you took revenge on someone. Ano yung normally nasasabihin natin? He started it or she started it, you know? Or when you are afraid, di ba? You do a lot of justifications to get out of the situation. For example, mina lang, in terms of driving, you know, my wife asked me why di pa ako nagdadrive. And honestly, ang dami kong palusot na sinasabi sa kanya. I mean, not just him, not just her. Kahit yung ibang tao, let's say yung bayo ko, si Kifroy, he would always ask, ba't di ka mag-drive? Ba't di ka mag-drive? But Mrs. mo nag-drive? I would come up with different justifications and all. Sometimes they're so lame and all. Until sinabi ko na lang na because I am scared. Wala na akong magawa eh. Because honestly, I'm just scared of driving. Hindi yung dahil baka mabangga ako sa sasakyan. Hindi yun eh. What I'm most afraid of, I might run over someone, di ba? Baka meron akong masagasaan. That's one of my number one fears. But I know eventually I have to conquer that. I have to overcome that fear, because how am I supposed to serve my family if I'm not able to do that? The third one, if you keep repeating the same response to an emotion, it becomes a habit. You know, the human brain is designed in a way that repeated action becomes a habit. You know, when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, new neurological pathways are created in the brain until such a time that repeated action becomes a normal part of us. Kaya nga, di ba sabi nila, practice makes perfect. Okay? So the same is true with our action in response to an emotion. Therefore, it's very important that we consciously choose how we react. Because in the long run, it becomes our default setting. For example, if you would rather eat than read a book when you are bored, then that becomes a habit. Or if you would rather shout than talk calmly when you are mad or angry, that becomes a habit. If you would rather give in to desire whenever a new model of iPhone comes out, rather than instead of delaying your fulfillment, that becomes a habit. So we need to take control. We need to be in control of our emotions so that it never gets the best of us. Now, let's go to the second theme. So the second theme is, like what I said earlier, is guarding your passions. So what are passions? No, passions here are basically powerful and compelling emotions or feelings, specifically felt towards other people. So that's the two characteristics of it. It's powerful and it's compelling. It pushes you, you know? So, I cannot stress enough the importance of being prudent and cautious in guarding your passions or your emotions when building and keeping relationships intended to be platonic. You know, there's a clear danger when we cannot distinguish friendly to being too friendly, especially when it comes to the opposite sex, especially when you're in a commitment, and especially when you are married. So again, let us bring into mind the three realizations I shared to you earlier. One is, do not make a decision or commit to action when you are hyped by emotions. Second is, questionable decisions are followed by repeated justifications. And then, if you keep repeating the same response to an emotion, it becomes a habit. The same rules can be applied to protect your heart and control your passions. Now, for example, when you are so hyped by a woman that you met because she is so delightful and beautiful, stop. Remember, you are in control. Get out of the situation. If you start if you're starting to justify, your actions saying that, I just want us to be friends, or baka isipin niya suplado ako. She might think I'm rude. Di ba? Stop. You're a few steps away from repeating the same response over and over again until it becomes a way of life for you. We have to remember that the enemy loves using passion, using emotions, to attack the family, to attack marriage, to attack commitments. He loves using emotions uh, to cause us to sin, to cause us to fail. And the only way that we would we could succeed, we could overcome it, is to literally fight, to consciously fight. We are in a spiritual battle habang nandito tayo sa mundong to. And and honestly, we're not alone. We're not alone. God is with us. God has given us the graces to fulfill our purpose, to fulfill our goals, And all we need to do is ask. That's why I'm sharing my experiences with you, because I know you're in the same fight. I know na marami ding iba dyan, marami ding mga fathers dyan out there na who are in the same fight. And together, we can all rise up, as new men, a new generation of fathers that would defeat or overcome the works of the enemy. We just have to work together and trust that God is with us. God has anointed us. Our vocation as fathers is an anointed calling. Again, thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and of course, itong nangyari sa akin, it opens another set of opportunities, a new chapter in our life. So, and I'm hoping to share it with you guys as well. And also, I would like to invite you to follow Tatay Podcast. So, Tatay Podcast is a podcast that we started. I started it together with three other dads who are sharing their journeys as well as fathers. And so that's it. I'm hoping to see you in the next episode. And again, remember, you and I, we are called. And even dads away can be heroes today. And that is us. God bless you. Bye.